Hello and welcome to episode 8 of From Zero to Dreamfort. In this episode, we're going to be embarking on a little special project to make our dwarves a little more comfortable. We'll be making a mist waterfall down the central staircase. So let's get started. We're going to be doing our waterfall straight down through the center of this staircase, all the way down to the bottom, and have the water just flow out to the side somewhere over here. We haven't hit the caverns yet. I don't know where they are, so we're just going to do a drain off the end of the map like we did for our light aquifer tap. But this is going to take a little more work than that. We're going to get our water from the same place as our wells, from this aquifer tap here. And all this is, water 7.7, and we're just going to pump some off the top of this, straight up through here, through our pasture, up towards the roof, bring it over here and dump it down right through there and have it come straight down through our stairwell. So we're going to need to build some infrastructure up on top, and we're going to be needing to build a small pump stack to go up through those levels. So to start off, we're going to need some blocks. Let's go order some blocks. Let's say 1,000. So we got 1,000 jobs of rock blocks. That'll give us 4,000 blocks to deal with. That should be enough. Let us unforbid this and start building up on top. You know what? We're not going to be needing this checklist anymore. Let's just full screen and go full game. Okay, constructions, wall. Let's make it a hollow area and just go across like that. Okay, you can see suspend manager taking effect here, making sure that the corners get built for those. And while that is building, let's plan our next levels. Okay, so since this is a nice enclosed area, I might make this a secondary pasture for more animals as we get them. So we'll just leave this area quite empty. Instead, do a staircase up here. This is one level up. This will be where the water is routed to the center. One level above that is going to be our machinery, where the power will come to route to our screw pumps. And one level up from this is going to be our windmills that will power the whole thing. So let me put that staircase in place, but before we get started, let's just check really quickly and make sure that there's wind in this area. Let's build a windmill right out here. Because in some embarks, if you embark too close to where the equator is, you just will not have any wind. You get a lot more wind in the far northern and far southern parts of the map, and it occurs to me that we're somewhere near the center, so let's just double check to make sure that we have wind. If we don't have wind, then we're going to need to build some water reactors and generate power that way. And we have wind. Okay, excellent. It is generating 20 power. That will be enough because we can build a whole lot of windmills up there. Okay, so in that time, our entire wall here got built. Here is going to be our aqueduct. Here's our machinery, and finally up here is our windmills. So let's start building some of that. So our windmills are going to be up in this section. So we can build some flooring up here. Let's see here, we only really need it to be here. Let's set up our platform. So we know we want to pull from this light aquifer. And we want it to come up straight through here, through the inside of our pasture. We want it to be inside the walls. Bringing up a water pump outside the walls makes it susceptible to building destroyers and just a bit of a pain to protect. So let's keep it inside of here and then right here. So this we want to go south. We want the water to be pushed south on this level, pushed north here, pushed south here, pushed north. Okay. So we want this level to be south to north. Let's bring up our pump stack blueprint. And conveniently, the bottom level pumps from the south. Let's flip this horizontally. That's the equal sign. Okay. And we want that to be right here. Okay, so we're starting right there, and we'll go up. Okay. Now, let's put that on pause. We don't want this to be an up-down stair. We only want it to be an up stair right there. And that's all. Yeah, the water's right here, so we don't need to go down any further. Okay. In the meantime, let's queue up some rock hatch covers and rock grates. We're going to need quite a few rock grates. We're going to be going down many levels. There's going to be 30 of those. We're going to have our miner dig that out. And while we're waiting for that, we can work on this level. So here, we're going to have it right here in the corner. Well, we also need to build our wall. Okay. Let's do one thing at a time here. Let's get the floor. We're going to need a floor right here for the pump itself. And then we want the pathway to come down here. And where do we want it to go? Right here. This will be the end of the path. Right there. Okay. And that's going to be a grate. So we need a floor in front of it. We're going to need a pressure reducer right here. We're going to build a wall in the center right there for a pressure break. Just to slow things down. Take that out. So that is the path of water. Isn't that a movie? Okay, so this is now dug out, and we have our area for the screw pump. Okay, let's bring up our pump again, our blueprint again, and bring to the channel. Now, we still have the same transformation on, so this is still in the right spot. So we click there, and we get channels going down. Now, we don't want the channel in the center because we don't need to transmit power down any further. We just want the channel at the end. Then one level up, we have our channels here, which means that we will have to build a hole here, and then here and here. So we need those holes. The holes at the end of those are to pull the water up, and the holes in the middle of that group of 4 is for transmitting power down the stack. And then that means one level up, we're going to need some flooring, and that's going to end up right here. So that's going to go across for the gears that will be supporting the windmills on the top level. And then down here, we need to build the walls around our little aqueduct so that it ends up in the right place. Now remember, there's going to be a grate right there. So we want to build a wall here. And then just along the outside of this. Just like that. Okay, and then we're going to need to build some flooring so that we can actually get to where we're trying to build. All along the outside of it right here. And I guess we can fill in this wall right here, since they can just go around and build the screw pump on the other side. All right, so while you're building that, you are building the gears. Let's see here, we can dig holes through here for our windmills. Every 4, just like that. And then we have this set up already and that. Okay, great. Let us build some protections. Let's build a floor grate over here so nobody falls through. Similarly, right here. We want to build flooring here and here so that we don't get a sapling or a tree growing in the middle of our pump and gumming up the works. And then we can start building our actual pumps. Let's bring up the build blueprint, and we want this to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Those. Okay, well, we're not ready for that one up here. But we can build these 3. We can build, that's it, O for building 2 levels and O for building materials for 2 levels more. We'll lay that in. And we can put one right here as well. And then that's not going to build the one up here. We can do that manually later. But everything else is in place. Great. Okay. And we should build a hatch cover over here to block it off. And how are we doing here? So that's all going to get built around the edge. And this is nearly done as well. Oh, not yet. We need to build our gears first. One here, here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have our gears in place. Screw pump is set up here. Let's lock you and build a wall around you. And for good measure, we'll repaint the pasture so it's not included. Okay, so that is now safe. You also need a wall. And this is coming along nicely too. That is ready for a screw pump. Okay, so we will build our screw pump, and this one needs to be pointing down right there. And you build right away. Okay. Now this needs to connect to that gear. So now we want to build the floor one off this way, and that will be our on-off switch. Let's build just a little bit more flooring around you. And we'll get our gear assembly here. We can also set up our horizontal axles to connect all these mechanisms. And one more gear assembly here to connect to the screw pump below it. And then I'll put a lever right here to be able to shut off power. And how are we doing here? Okay, so we got the screw pumps. This is all set up. We need to put a floor grate in position there. And we'll build a wall here to break any pressure and slow the water down to a trickle. And in the meantime, let's build a wall around the rest of this. Now, hope that cat gets out of the way before they build it. These are all set up. We need to link the lever to that one, and that will disconnect the power if we need to. And then we'll pull the lever to disconnect the power. And then finally, we will build some windmills. Power is not yet disconnected. Hopefully that will be disconnected before we start the windmills up. How much power does this whole thing? It needs 46. Okay, we'll have plenty of power because it's going to be 20 per. Oh, okay, it's separated. It's 45 on one side and 46 on the other. We're still going to have enough power. This is almost done. Build that wall. This still can be a little tricky to make sure they get built in the right order when there are multiple points of entry and they're building at the same time. Like that. Yeah, we need to make sure that one gets built before I close everything off. Thank you. Now, let's finish building this. We'll wait for that to be built before we do the next one. So we are nearly done. Let's just let that get built there. And then the aqueduct is complete. Let us seal it up by building floors above the open gaps. And we have our windmills running and producing power. 220 power, that is more than enough. And this is now enclosed. Let's turn it on and see if she flies. Nobody's fallen in, right? Yes. All right, there we go. It's pulling up water. Oh, no, I haven't dug the drain yet. Turn off. Turn off. So that's just going to dump water in here. I haven't actually... Whoops. Okay, okay. All right, turn it off. You're turned off. Okay, thank goodness. Okay. This will sprinkle us a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. We're fine. We're fine. We're going to recover. Let's start digging down and create our drain. We have to be careful here because we don't want to have people suddenly falling down a gigantic chute when the miner digs it out. So we will dig this out little by little. Especially true when we get to the stone layers, because then gigantic stones might be falling down. Yeah, we already have a gigantic stone. Okay, let's do that one by one. And while they're working on that, let's build some grates. Maybe we'll let that spread out before we open that area so we don't flood our entranceway. And we'll build floor grates all along here. Right there. Okay. And we'll continue to dig down. Maybe every other one, just to make it a little less dangerous. Okay, so here we are at the bottom. And we want to dig a channel from here off to the side. And it looks like the closest side is going to be to the right. So we're going to dig off to the right. Right there. Now let's switch to dumping and dump all the rocks that have accumulated in the center here. Right there. get them all out of the way, and then we can channel the remaining pieces without fear of falling rocks. Dump you. Dump you. And we'll take this time to put in the rest of the floor grates. Making sure that each level is dug out properly, because if we missed a level, then we're going to be flooding ourselves. Okay, well, okay, we don't want to do that one quite yet. We still have people down here. All right, smooth that final edge. Dump all the rock. Okay, and now we carve that fortification. Again at priority 1. Okay, while they're doing that, let's jump back up here. I see some water fell down to the pasture. That is fine. Let us pull out this one tile and replace it with a floor grate. Okay, there we are. And then back down to the bottom. Everyone's out of here. We have our fortification carved. Let's put our final floor grate in place here. And check all the way up. Make sure all those floor grates got placed. Looking good. And this one's there too. Okay. Let's pull the trigger again. And this time, have it produce the intended effect. Okay, so it's pushing the water along around our pressure break, and we have mist. There it is. And as our citizens go up and down the stairway, they're going to be inundated in it. Happy thoughts all around. No escape from the happy thoughts. And it is going down our drain and will eventually go off the map. Love it. Love it. Now, of course, this works best in warm areas that don't freeze in the winter. Right now it is winter and we are not frozen. If we were in a place that freezes, then right here, this block here would just turn straight into ice because it was exposed to air. And in fact, down here, this one would have turned to ice as well. Everything below that would be okay because it was never exposed to the sky. But our entire aqueduct would be ice throughout the winter, and we'd only get our happy thoughts in the warmer months. Okay. So we have a few more invaders, but I think I will call this episode done, because now we're going to have our mist keeping our soldiers happy even when they are traumatized from the bloody battles that they get into. All right, thank you very much. That concludes our From Zero to Dreamfort. You have achieved Dreamfort. Go forth, build your dreams and your forts and your dream forts, and succeed. Dig deep.